Well, good morning. Good morning. This is Reverend Catherine Bonin, and I'm here to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm so delighted that you've chosen to join us today. With modern technology, we're so grateful to be able to gather together to touch so many lives through Zoom and Facebook and to share all the wonderful happenings at CSL Charlotte. So please, after you've enjoyed the service today, please visit our website, cslcharlotte.org, put in a prayer request and subscribe so that you can keep up with all the great things that are happening here. Also, should you happen to miss a Sunday live, we add these recordings to the website each week so you can go back and listen. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community living an ancient wisdom philosophy that's based on the teachings of the science of mind. The science of mind was developed in the early 20th century by writer, lecturer, and philosopher Ernest Holmes. We call him the great synthesizer because he took truths from all the world's great religions, spiritual paths, and philosophies and put them together to create the science of mind. He was a man on a mission. He developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into the world. At CSL Charlotte, every philosophy is honored, along with every race, every sexual orientation, and every physical distinction. This is a diverse community, and we are glad that you are here with us. We know that there are many paths to the divine. We know that you can call it God, you can call it peace or love or spirit, the universe. Anything you call it is fine. What matters is that you have that personal relationship with that power that's within you. And you don't have to leave the philosophy that you grew up with or found at some point on your journey. You can join us anytime. We recognize and refer to many, many of the Holy Scriptures, like the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Gita, just to name a few. Our vision statement is to continue a spiritual community that creates and prepares a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and expose the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. One of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community. And we teach the tools to do that. So join us on Sundays and then again on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we teach a class on using spiritual tools. So welcome everyone and enjoy the service this morning as we celebrate this powerful presence within each of us. And now it's my pleasure to pass the microphone back over to our illustrious leader and my dear friend, Reverend Rosedale Jones.
I'm always trying to remember to do things, guys. So anyway, I'm glad I did it in the beginning. Thank you, Alan. So anyway, guys, welcome to CSL Charlotte. We are the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. And I'm just loving how we're about to welcome live streamers, virtual community, everybody, everywhere, no matter where you are under the sound of this voice. I'm hearing already that there's so many people. I walked into a lady the other day. She said, "You look familiar." She came back later. She said to me, "You're the lady on Sunday mornings on Facebook." I said, "Yeah, okay." I'm just saying, okay, I'm just saying. So welcome all of you, whether you know me or not. I'm grateful that we are having our third Sunday of another year celebrating Black History Month. And now, happy Black History Month to everyone. And one thing I'm clear about is I was never, and I know it was never just Black people who love Black people. So just know that it's a good thing. We are a diverse community, just as Reverend Catherine said, and all people are welcome. So CSL Charlotte is celebrating the Black History Month this year. Okay, so in celebrating the integration of the Body, Mind, Spirit Center, we at CSL Charlotte open our Sunday celebration service with an affirmative prayer. So right now, as we open up, I just want to tell you, I have this wonderful woman who's about to come in and do a prayer for us, and that's Reverend Catherine. See, we are sisters of the same birthday, and a lot of ways we think alike. So we do spiritual practices together, and then we measure what our outcomes were and the results we get to see. So that is a really, really good fun thing. So curiosity is our superpower And we happen to know that. So that's what we practice. So, with that being said, let Karen open us up with that wonderful prayer that she's about to spew out, and then we'll move forward.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Rosedale. My goodness, Curiosity, what a beautiful title. And just to be clear, Curiosity did not kill the cat.
Satisfaction brought him back.
Exactly. So as we go into prayer this morning, knowing that if it weren't for curiosity, we wouldn't have all the scientific advancements that we have and the technology that we have today in this world. So thank you, Spirit, for that beautiful gift of curiosity, and knowing Spirit as curiosity, knowing Spirit as all the beautiful attributes, the power, the superpower of life, that presence within that created this life, that is within each and every one of us as our superpower, expressing through us as the beautiful light, the presence that is life, that is caring, that is kindness, that is all the beautiful attributes of God. They are all within us. They are all within that light that we were born with, that we carry into our death and into the future and our journeys that never end. And knowing this, and knowing this beautiful message that is being delivered this morning through Reverend Rosedale is straight from her heart. It is straight from God, straight from Spirit, speaks through her as her. And each one of us hears what we need to hear from her talk today. I know that for myself, it lifts my Sunday morning every Sunday to hear Reverend Rosedale and her beautiful messages, and this whole team as they join together as one heart, one love, one curiosity of life. And knowing this, and in so much gratitude for the blessings of CSL Charlotte, for the blessings of God in my life, in all areas of my life, please join me as we come together in appreciation and with curiosity for who we are and what we are and what we are to do on this planet. And knowing this, we join together and release this prayer into the beauty of the universal law, and together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Okay. Well, next on our platform, we have Karen A. from Sheepshead Bay. You know, she's really not from Sheepshead Bay. She's only from there today. So ever since I've met her several years ago, she's been a part of this community when the doors opened. I met her in the parking lot of another community when I first moved back to Charlotte. And I keep saying, who knew? Spirit knows Spirit's people are going to connect. But one thing I know about Karen is she is very astute when it comes to spirituality. And we love all types of literature together. Matter of fact, we have a lot of the same books in common as well. So it's very easy for her to find a reading at any given time, and she does that. So after Karen's reading, I invite you to really listen to the song, Keep the Faith, because what it's going to do is it's going to start us focusing on how curiosity is our superpower. So we just need to know where to go for faith. And that's the curious part about this song. So there's going to be a question, and I want to see if you know the answer while you listen to the song. So Karen, make it do what it do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the reading today is from the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This is not one of the four agreements. This is in the back of the book in his sort of summary here, where he talks about imagination, which kind of goes with wonder, and I hope goes with curiosity. Okay, so using your imagination, I want you to see yourself living a new life, a new dream, a life where you don't need to justify your existence and you are free to be who you really are. Imagine, excuse me, that you have permission to be happy and to really enjoy your life. Your life is free of conflict with yourself and with others. Imagine living your life without fear of expressing your dreams. You know what you want, what you don't want, and when you want it. You are free to change your life the way you really want to. You are not afraid to ask for what you need, to say yes or to say no to anything or anyone. Imagine living your life without the fear of being judged by others. You no longer rule your behavior according to what others may think about you. You are no longer responsible for anyone's opinion. You have no need to control anyone, and no one controls you either. Imagine living your life without judging others. You can easily forgive others and let go of any judgments that you have. You don't have the need to be right, and you don't need to make anyone else wrong. You respect yourself and everyone else, and they respect you in return. Imagine living without the fear of loving and not being loved. You are no longer afraid to be rejected, and you don't have the need to be accepted. You can say, I love you with no shame or justification. You can walk in the world with your heart completely open and not be afraid to be hurt. Imagine living your life without being afraid to take a risk and to explore life. You are not afraid to lose anything. You are not afraid to be alive in the world, and you are not afraid to die. Imagine that you love yourself just the way you are. You love your body just the way it is, and you love your emotions just the way they are. You know that you are perfect just as you are. The reason I ask you to imagine these things is because they are all entirely possible. You can live in the state of grace, the state of bliss, the dream of heaven. Only love has the ability to put you in the state of bliss. It is entirely possible to live this way all the time. It is possible because others have done it, and they are no different from you. They live in bliss because they have changed their agreements and are dreaming a different dream. This way of life is possible, and it's in your hands. Moses called it the promised land, Buddha called it nirvana, and Jesus called it heaven. Maybe we cannot escape from the destiny of the human, but we have a choice to suffer our destiny or to enjoy our destiny, to suffer or to love and be happy, to live in hell or to live in heaven. My choice is to live in heaven. What is yours? And so it is.
What do you do? So relax your eyes and just either look in your lap or close your eyes down. And if you choose, take a nice deep breath in and open your lungs and everything. And just relax your mind, prepare yourself, and exhale. And the question is, when all hope seems like it's gone, where do you go? When you wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning, plagued with yesterday's drama, where do you go? What it seems like is that sometimes things, you're never going to heal from a certain condition. It doesn't have to be an illness in the body. But where do you go? So you go to your spiritual practices because you can always activate your superpower. But know this, curiosity is our superpower. All you need to do is make up some corresponding question to whatever's going on and repeat it over and over to yourself because it will lead you to know what you want. See, we gotta live in the question to really make curiosity our superpower. So basically, wiggle your fingers, your toes, and everything like that, and integrate your mind and your body and your spirit. And just really just look around your space with gratitude. And as soon as you do that, feel like a new person. And hold in there while I take my gratitude moment. First, I give great thanks to our amazing MC, Reverend Catherine, When I moved to California, she took me into her home. She treated me like a little sister, although I don't mind saying I'm a little older than her. But she made my intern years leading up to my master's degree in consciousness studies a breeze. Everything moved so fast. So thanks, my sister. You are beautiful to me. I'm also going to acknowledge Ruby G too, because she is the reason that things most of the time run nice and quiet and smooth. Because if it weren't for her behind the scenes, keeping us muted so that the sounds don't distract everyone, we'd be a mess. So Ruby G, I gotta say thank you. And as for the reading, Curiosity Curiosity Is Our Superpower came to life with Karen A's reading. So thank you, Karen A. And thank you, Reverend Karen, for that beautiful prayer. Yes. Okay, so speaking of prayer, our ecclesiastical team is going to pretty much hold the high watch over this service, as we always do, and we can continue to celebrate all we want, that beautiful divine spirit within us. So here's what I know about curiosity. But first of all, let me ask you this. Are you aware of how inquisitive we are as species? Well, I'm going to come out out the gate and talk about a peer-reviewed research about the psychology and neuroscience of curiosity. Now, according to this particular research, a significant amount of our time is spent seeking information. Like we're tuning into the news, or some people, and we're surfing the internet, or me, and we're questioning people. How does that work? How Phil? And questioning the places and the people and the things all around us. We spend a significant amount of time just seeking information. That's one of the biggest things they found out in that particular study by doing that survey for over 1,000 people. We have an insatiable demand for information, right? So no matter how many times people fail at things, high achievers maintain a curious state of mind. We just need to realize that it's time to operate on the principle of curiosity. We have to learn to operate on the principle of curiosity, because if we don't, we got to act like we don't know anything, because then we're infused with a sense of curiosity and everything we can learn if we are infused with that sense of curiosity. I compare the mind to a computer. With all that we have been programmed from as a child, fear became part of the operating system of life. So we unconsciously manifest it. But don't worry, because what I know for me is that I know it's up to me to change the paradigm. It's that simple. So I know that striking that balance between spiritual and physical is a real achievement all its own. Because you know what? I have an example. Learning how to ride a bike. Now check this out. Learning how to ride a bike and being totally focused on what you're doing is different than after getting the hang of it. Maybe, remember, I was like in the second grade, right? And then after you got the hang of it, you never forgot how to ride a bike again. How about check this out? If you can't explain the steps that got you to that part, why would that be that it's not easy to articulate? Here I go with my curiosity. We can't fully articulate the details of curiosity and spirituality, but we can always use spiritual practice to bring us to this present moment that opens us up to the answers. Oh my God. Even then, when we start trying to get the answers, to exactly tell the journey the way it unfolds, it's impossible. We don't even know how the outcome. Curious about if I decided that I wanted to be an athlete runner, what would it take me? No. But spirit makes it happen. That's in other words, curiosity saves people in different ways. Curiosity is a huge part of our imagination. Read the, the book, The Four Agreements about our imagination. What's his name? Don Miguel Ruiz. I want to read one part that he said that drove it home for me. This is what happens when you imagine. When you imagine living your life without judging others, you can easily forgive others and let go any judgments that you may have, because you're using your imagination to figure out, how can I forgive them, right? You don't have the need at that state, in that state, to be right. You don't have the need to make anybody wrong either. You just respect yourself and everyone else, and they respect you in turn. If not, oh, if you know where the door is, find yourself a door out of that place. So our human curiosity and imagination with our consciousness is always working. Now you see, we are in high demand for information. Curiosity is our spiritual superpower. It's spiritual power too, right? For me, about 30 years ago, I had my health was really shoddy. I mean, today I'm in way better health than I was as a younger woman. But for me, I had these cholesterol level that was off the chain. I was really close to congestion heart failure, whatever they call the thing. I can't even repeat the words because I can't get it. But anyway, I don't want to get it. I had a crazy blood pressure issue. I was supposed to be pre-diabetic. And I understood that if I didn't lose, I understood at that time, if I didn't lose that 80 pounds, I was on my way to be a permanent patient. That's what I call it when I share that story to the people and my clients that I'm helping a lot. I tell them, yo, that thing scared me straight, you know? Fear caused my curiosity to motivate me. Which was my curiosity? Was the power of spirit. Me asking questions. Here's what the deal was. The paradigm I was living with, the way I was keeping my body then, had to change. I had to learn something new. But you know what? I ran across this book in the 2000s called Strangers to Ourselves. I love different books. And it's by Timothy D. Wilson. And what he does is he speaks about those mental processes that operate our consciousness, our language, and the motor systems. You see how I move my hand? Those are my motor systems. You know that. And he also explains how we operate, how our system operates largely. I mean, the word largely means that it's just all out there and it's outside of our physical awareness. I know I'm going very scientific, but that's okay. This is what happens. We got this consciousness, we got this language, we got these motor systems, and all of them really, really operate out on the outskirts of our awareness. But that's okay, because we still can tap into it. All we got to do is do spiritual practices to experience those outside awareness. That's the purpose of us doing those Wednesday night consciousness meetings, because there's a lot of things. We're going here, we're going there, we're doing this, we're doing that, but it's a lot of stuff outside of our awareness that we're not listening to when we're just running. Yeah, that's how I learned. That incident of being scared straight was what helped me. One of the things in my life, because I had a lot of journeys, you better believe me. And I learned that when I asked those questions that I did during the time I was scurrying to save my life, I was getting answers. There's a thing called implicit learning, and it can't be labeled or identified or defined. It can only be hinted at. Like, you can't explain how I learned how to ride that bike, you know, but I can tell you I know how. I can't tell you, even when a kid, when I was trying to teach my kids how to drive, I could not tell them that implicit learning that I had to learn to make me so confident behind that wheel. They had to get it, right? It can't be hinted at. That's why curiosity plays a big part. So now that's why we study and we practice, because the curiosity makes us go and do it. That power within me at that point, after I started asking all these questions, encouraged me to look the answers up. That was one of the ways I found out. And I also found out being in different spiritual communities. I delved into so much scientific research. I know, let me see. I even know that everything was not a medical issue for me to go run to the doctor about now. In hindsight, what I learned was that many of my issues were what? Spiritual. Figure that out. I just need to take some time in the silence, which I hardly ever did back 30 years ago. Being a police officer, just running here to there. Oh yeah, but it wasn't, I'm not playing victim role, because I had a lot of fun during those days too. Never sat down, right? So for me, spiritual practice today trumps everything. Today, I am leveled up, as Timmy P says. I'm leveled up on all 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fronts of my life. My cholesterol level is normal. My blood pressure, and no medication. My blood pressure, perfect, no medication. I dropped those 82 pounds and never decided I'd pick them back up again, because the mind said, you don't want to be back there again, do you? I also never went beyond that pre-diabetic stage either. And my finances are straight, my love is intact, and all this is owed to my curiosity when stuff hit the fan. I'm telling you, there's a lot of different areas of my life. When it did hit the fan, my curiosity level rose and came into full force. How can I get out of this? About me is I search, I research, and I engage my spiritual, I engage in my spiritual practices. Spiritual practice healed my life, and curiosity saved my life. Curiosity is what led me to science and spirituality. I'm a big buff for science, because scientists are curious, right? They go, they check it, I'm gonna go check this out. Curiosity is my superpower. And I'm not ashamed to tell people that I live in the question, and I all the time, and I have this imagination, because I always do that. I'm always going, I wonder where that came from. But I do that, and then I also wonder, what is that? If I got a certain pain somewhere or whatever, I'm like, so sorry, everybody. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know where we ended, but we do. Okay. But we do know that curiosity is my superpower. So, on another note, I am still curious of how much better my life can get, even as it keeps getting better. Because the better it gets, the better it gets. The deeper I get into my mind, the healthier my body is. The more I get into my body and spend time in the silence, the stronger my spirit connection stays.
So I have a suggestion during this time that we're waiting. Why doesn't everyone think about a time when their curiosity had them thinking outside the box, doing something that you wouldn't have thought about doing, that ended up with the perfect outcome? Make sense?
Yes. Well, I
And
can
if you want to
speak on
share,
that.
go ahead. Share, Jerry.
I can speak on that immediately. When I was moving from Michigan to California, I did a search for churches that have open minds and open to different genders, and people just doing themselves. And that's how I came across CSL.
Awesome. Anybody else have one they want to share?
I will.
Great, Karen.
My husband's curiosity at the time to check out our Science of Mind church here in town brought me in there, and I was like a Pentecostal. So I was afraid to go in there, but I went with his curiosity and went through those doors, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So, even though I was afraid of the devil, the devil wasn't in there. God was.
Great. Well, I'll share one for me. I recently had three surgeries in 1 year. So I was going through a lot of stuff, and I was having a lot of physical symptoms from all the surgery and all the medical stuff. And I decided that instead of taking all the pills and doing all the stuff that the doctors wanted me to do, I was going to try to change my eating. And I started to write down everything I ate and how I reacted to everything I ate, because I was really curious about how the food, what we put in, it works in our bodies, how it supports us, because really that's all we have, right? What we put into our mind and what we put into our bodies, that's all we really have. And so I've changed my eating completely as a result of that. And so I'm really grateful for that curiosity and the ability and the willingness to not do exactly what the doctor said and just start taking lots of pills and do something different. Melissa?
Yeah, very proud.
Yeah, I would like to say that what I like to do if my mind is in a mindful moment, and this is what I always like to be in, but replace worry with curiosity. So that's something that if I find that if I put curiosity in where worry sometimes wants to sneak in, I find that I recognize it more of a learning experience and a gratitude moment, and it helps move through those certain times in life where that happens.
Beautiful. Millie.
So I was listening to Reverend Karen, and it's interesting. That's how I found religious science. I too was Pentecostal, and I was tired of trying to keep myself out of hell every week. And I was just exhausted. And so I said, there has to be some place that I can go, that I can be spiritually fed without being afraid of going to church or not going to church. Because, and if you don't know, I'm just saying, you miss a Sunday or a meeting through the week and you're a backslider, and you've got the brothers and sisters calling you, to pray for your soul. And when I prayed, Spirit guided me to a Science of Mind church here in Denver, in Lakewood, actually. And from there, the rest is history.
Awesome. So I see Rosedale's back. Rosedale, we've been filling this time talking about how curiosity has had us looking at life differently and changed our lives.
Yeah, thank you, Reverend Millie. I love it. And thank you, Reverend Catherine, for picking up the ball. I love this team. It's phenomenal. Never worry. I was sitting here going, I ain't gonna worry about it. But for some reason, it kicked us out. So, hey, and I know that curiosity is going to get the best of me, and we're gonna fix this issue, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, because Karen A was having issues with getting in herself. So the mystery makes us curious and pulls us to explore our world and the depths around us. So I think it's about that time now to get into the showcase for our Black History Month celebration. So Horace, he is the man. He's in charge of making sure this community runs like a well-oiled machine, And he's going to highlight a person who didn't get a lot of notoriety throughout history. So Gwendolyn Brooks, she implemented curiosity from what I see. Okay, she did. She implemented with whatever she did. But you know what? Her self-acceptance, her self-love, and her confidence, she was a wonder woman. Wonder, curious, right? That's what I call a wonder woman, right? She was a woman of wonder. So after Horace talks about her, I'll get back to you again, and then we'll get to our last song. And thank you, everyone, my beautiful team, for being just ready all the time. Horace, please do you.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. And you know, I am so happy that we had this phenomenal message today on curiosity being our superpower. Because you know what, the person I want to talk about, Gwendolyn Elizabeth Brooks, she definitely used curiosity as her superpower. Because, you know, unfortunately, many people have not heard of her, even though she was prolific in her poetry. And I wanted to feature her because I too am a poet, and I wanted to feature someone who inspired me. And so we have heard of the likes of Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison, for instance. But guess what? Guess who inspired them? Gwendolyn Brooks was their inspiration. So let me tell you about who this poet activist was. Gwendolyn Elizabeth Brooks was an American poet, author, teacher, lecturer, activist who was born June 7th, 1917 in Topeka, Kansas, to Keziah Wims and David Anderson Brooks. And at a very young age, the family moved to Bronzeville area neighborhood in Chicago. It was during a time when there were a lot of families who were moving from the South that was called the Great Migration during that time, moving to northern areas of the United States in hopes for a better life. Well, maybe fortunately and unfortunately, what happened a lot of times were, especially in her neighborhood, Bronzeville, where her family ended up, and she ended up living there for the rest of her life, and she passed away in the year 2000, actually. She came to discover that everything wasn't bed of roses. I mean, she realized we're talking about during the time, during post-World War II, where there were a lot of benefits that were occurring to veterans, but unfortunately to a lot of Black families, they didn't reap those same benefits because of Jim Crow laws and also redlining. And if some of you are unfamiliar with redlining was also a practice that was put in place to systematically deny services, mortgages, insurance loans, and other financial services based on race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status. So her family was basically confined to this area. But what happened was Bronzeville became known as the Black megatropolis during that time. So a lot of the community in that area took advantage of those laws that were initially opposing them and used it as a way to develop entrepreneurship. And she was definitely influenced by that. So what happened was at the age of 11, at the earliest age of 11, she became curious about all of this and why all of these practices and laws and policies were not working on her behalf. And so she decided to use poetry. She became inspired by the likes of Langston Hughes, for instance. And she began to use poetry as an instrument to express her curiosity and as a way of responding to a lot of what was going on around her. And there's a quote that I'm going to quote in a few minutes too about that, because she felt very inclined to speak against, or not even so much against, but explore what was going on around her because of all these things. And so she she was definitely influenced by him, along with Richard Wright, another popular Black writer during that time, and James Weldon Johnson. Those of you who may be familiar with those names, James Weldon Johnson, for instance, is known for writing the famous poem, which became a song that we now refer to as the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. So she was inspired by those people who became her mentors. And as you can see here, there's actually a picture of her when she was younger, posing with Langston Hughes. And so he became her mentor, and she paid it forward. Because as I said earlier, she ended up mentoring the likes of Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou, Rita Dove, just to name a few, and many others over her 6 decades of a legacy that she left behind, teaching and inspiring. She actually even used her money that I want to talk about in a minute from the Pulitzer Prize. She actually won the Pulitzer Prize in 1950 and became the first Black person ever to win the Pulitzer Prize in 1950 based on her epic poetry book called Annie Allen, which kind of parallels her life, because Annie Allen was about a young woman in her journey into adulthood, dealing with all the issues that were going on in that time during post-World War II and Jim Crow and the civil rights. And speaking of the civil rights, in which she became an activist, she became friends with the likes of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And she participated in a lot of the protests in supporting them. And she also, again, using her skills and abilities as a writer to mentor and to send money to other poets that go to South Africa and to bring awareness to what was going on in apartheid during that time. So you don't hear about these things that she was involved in behind the scenes. But that was what she felt very strongly about and wanted to do. As I said, she started at a very early age, at the age 11, and just kept going from then as far as being a prolific author. And this was her way of responding to the experiences going on around her. Another thing I want to talk about with Gwendolyn Brooks, as far as I said, paying it forward, she literally mentored 3 generations of poets. And I don't mean just Black poets, but Hispanic, Native American, and basically people from every group, every ethnicity. And after she passed, there was actually a Gwendolyn Brooks College Preparatory Academy that was set up in her name to continue this legacy of hers. I wanted to, if you just give me a moment, there's a quote of hers that I felt was very important. And just give me a minute. Okay, she is quoted as saying, "It is the task, job, responsibility, pleasure, and pride of any writer to respond to his climate." And so that basically tells me that she felt a responsibility to be active in her community and to use what she was given as her gift to respond to that. And if it wasn't for what she has done, there's probably a lot in the area of not just creative writing, but in history in general, that we would just not know about as a result because of what she has provided. So There's a lot. And I just want to say, I'm almost embarrassed to say that I can't do this the justice I want to, because it is so much that I can talk about, but given the time frame, we won't be able to share. But I do want to show you that there was actually even a park named in her honor, Gwendolyn Brooks Park in Chicago. Again, another way of honoring her. And then Alan, if you go to the next slide. Go to the next slide, please. Yeah, this shows also that she was honored as being the Poet Laureate of Illinois. And in addition, as was briefly mentioned earlier, she also became Poet Laureate of the US and served in that honor from 1985 to 1986. And then let's go to the next slide. And this is a book. If you want to find out much more information than what I can share in these few minutes, A Surprise Queenhood and the New Black Sun by Angela Jackson. And that's also on Amazon. You can get that. It has just so much information detailing the life and the legacy of Gwendolyn Brooks. And then she is known, this is one of the poems. And if you go on YouTube, you can actually hear her reciting it. And she's kind of funny too. She says, everybody thinks I just wrote one poem. I wrote a lot of poems, but everybody just know me by this one poem, which is a good poem. And I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to try to explain it because she talks a little bit about it when you go to YouTube, but and why she was inspired to write this. We real cool, we left school, we lurk late, we strike straight, we sing sin, we thin gin, we jazz June, we die soon. And with that, I'm going to leave you with the blessing and legacy of Gwendolyn Elizabeth Brooks, poet, activist, and I like to call her the mama of modern poetry. And there you have it, and so it is.
Yes, Forrest, you are phenomenal with that. Oh, thank you so much. Wow, man, I'm telling you, that was fabulous. So she did definitely, Gwendolyn. Guys, I know I could be funny, but I am. I like it. But anyway, let me just ask you something. I'm going to ask you a quick thing, and this has to do with curiosity to wrap it up. So, all right. Has anybody ever told you you have stars in your eyes? Or have you ever heard that saying before? Because that means that your imagination makes you look dazed, right? And so what happens is when we are envisioning a happy future for ourselves, it's a light, we're all lit up. And to other people, it looks like we have stars in our eyes. But that's because that many, 2,000 years ago or so, our guy, what's his name, Aristotle, he did that research to see why did we light up? Because there is a big history, and I'm not going to hold you about it, that we are stars. We are lit up with stars inside of us because of the universe. But anyway, the reason I'm telling you that is because I want to bring a song to you so you'll understand the reason behind this song. We're going to embrace the power of self-love today, because Aristotle said that when we have that beam in our eyes, that curious look, we have stars in our eyes, that we're going to a higher future. So with that being said, we're going to go into this next song, Stars in Your Eyes by Herbie Hancock. Pay attention. Hey, man, this is awesome. So, I think that we're experiencing technical issues in this area because Horace lives here, Karen lives here, and I think I will check with our internet provider and see what's going on. I don't think it's our system anymore. I'm beginning to think. But anyway, guys, we're hanging in there. We're almost done. Let's get ready to go. But just remember, I mean, I know that song by heart because when I was a kid, I would sing it all the time because I would just be cleaning my house and that would be my major song. And it's like what he was saying, it's the same old story about somebody with a dream looking for the future. And that's all I talk about is the future, no matter how far it seems. So guys, if you got stars in your eyes, it's okay because we're just looking for that next phase because we know that next phase is going to get better and better. And so let's get with ourselves this week and experience the stars in our eyes. Now I'll hand this back over to our fabulous MC and my sister, Reverend Catherine.
Well, thank you, Reverend Rosedale. What a joy it is to just spend this Sunday morning with you. And I'm struck by what you just said. I wonder what this next week is going to bring for all of us. And I'm curious. I'm hoping that you all are too. And now it's my pleasure to invite you to be more supportive and a larger part of this community. And you can do that as we prepare for the succession of future leaders, because that's what we're really here to do. We're here to support this community and we're here to create leaders in future generations that will integrate, teach, and expose these principles, these ideas, and these tools that we use to make life better. And you can support this community and be a larger part of this community by donating not just your finances, but your time and your talent. We talk about giving of your time, talent, and your treasure, and that's what makes life more complete and more full. And so this community needs that support from people like you, and you get it back more than 10 times over just from giving, because you give from your heart. And you'll now see on the screen the website, which is cslcharlotte.org. And there at the website, you can press the donate button to make a donation, a financial donation through credit card or Zelle or Venmo. And you can send a check to this address on the screen to CSL Charlotte. And you can also give of your time and your talent. So if you're curious about how you can do that, I invite you to think about what you love to do, what you're really good at, and reach out to Reverend Rosedale. Maybe you're really good at working on the internet and creating and managing websites. Maybe you love music and you're a musician and you'd like to share some of that. Reach out to Reverend Rosedale and talk to her about what it is that you love to do. Because when you do what you love, you're expressing that spirit within you. And we want to know more about you and the things that excite you and the ways that you can give not only to us, but to the rest of the world. We know that you get back so many times over when we give from our heart. We know that giving is like a circle that's unbroken. And when we give anything, our time, our talent, or our treasures, we step into that flow of good. And then when we look around at the world, we see it everywhere we look. So now if you'll join me in the affirmative statement, prosperity and abundance flows from the law of circulation, of giving and receiving. As I give to the center of spiritual living, Charlotte, I give of my time, talent, and treasure, which opens the path to my grateful return of good 7 times or more in my life. I'm grateful for the universal power that exists to continuously open these paths for all prosperity and abundance that we all receive. And I now prosper. And now, if you'll join me by closing your eyes, if that makes you comfortable, think about how you can give to the world, how you give of yourself, how you give of your time, your talent, and your treasure. And think now and hold in your heart the way that you're giving to this spiritual community to support this community. Knowing that all of that is an expression of God, that all that you give is spirit expressing itself in, as, and through you, and in, as, and through your life. I love how God shows up in so many amazing ways that everywhere I look, I see expressions of God in the smiles of the people around, in the mail that I receive as I open my mailbox and all of a sudden a check shows up from an unexpected place, in the beauty of the ocean, or flowers blooming in spring, or bees buzzing around, butterflies, just the beautiful sky in the daytime and at night, the many, many stars, the abundance and the good that God is everywhere I look. And I know that that good exists within me and exists within each person here. And I know that by sitting in this place in consciousness, in this seat of consciousness within me, I can feel and see it, not only where I look outside, but also touching other people and seeing it within other people, feeling that unity, feeling that sense of oneness, knowing that this is how God lives and walks and moves and expresses itself here on this earth. And I am so grateful for the many, many sources of good and abundance that I see as I look around in the world. I'm so grateful for this spiritual community. I wonder what's coming next, not only for me, but for each person here. And so I celebrate that good with a sense of curiosity, with a sense of openness and willingness to do whatever it is mine to do. And I know this for each person here as well. And so I'm grateful for all of that good that flows in so many ways. And I'm grateful for the good that is flowing through each person today to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, for the good work that it does in the world, for the ability to reach so many people through technology. And so it's with that full heart for the many, many blessings all around us that I give great thanks. And it's from that place that I release my word to that law of mind, calling it good because I know that it is. And so it is. And now it's my pleasure to turn the microphone over to Tim, who's going to share all the amazing things that are happening here at CSL Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Reverend Catherine. I appreciate that introduction and a beautiful prayer. So good day, everyone. Our friends on Facebook, Zoom, YouTube, wherever you are, thank you for joining our service today. So what you see on the screen now are our important links for our community. The first being our website. This is the landing page for most information in our community. It's where we post most of our information, and we want you to get connected so that you have all of the latest and greatest information. So use your curiosity, head over to cslcharlotte.org. On the bottom of the homepage, there's a form you can fill out that will let us know that you want to be connected and you're curious about the news and announcements that have come out of our community, and we will make sure we fulfill and satisfy your curiosity. Next, we ask you to join us on social media. Head over to Facebook and engage with us. We post inspirational quotes and things throughout the week. And we ask you to share, like, and share with your friends so we can bring more people into our community. Our services are recorded and the video format is stored on YouTube, and this is a link to our YouTube channel. So you're able to go back for a few months and replay any of our messages. So enjoy. And then finally, we have a meetup group and we post announcements there as well. You're able to sign up for our services, get reminders. So we ask you to go and join us and join our community on Meetup as well. Here's our homepage. We're going to focus on the More button. And then we also say if you head to the web page and you do not find your picture in our photo album, let us know. We'd love to add your picture so that we can showcase you with our friends of CSL Charlotte. Again, we want you to stay informed and connected, and the best way to do that is to visit our website. As I mentioned, you'll find a form that allows you to let us know that you want to be on our mailing list, and we will sign you up, and you'll get constant communications about what's going on in our community. You'll hear about our reminders for Sunday service, consciousness meetings. So do sign up and join our team. Our social media links are also on our homepage. On the bottom left corner, you'll find links for Facebook, YouTube, and Meetup. Contribution statements for 2022 were sent out at the end of January, so everyone should have them by now. If you don't, email us at admin@cslcharlotte.org and let us know. But I believe most of us have received them by now. So we'll make this announcement one more time, and then you'll you should have had a chance to look for that email. Tuesdays, we have consciousness meeting on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We invite you to join us as we talk about the service, our Sunday service, and remind ourselves about what we learned. So we are definitely going to be talking about curiosity this coming Tuesday. So come join us. We also have spiritual practice time where we put each other in the circle so we can lift each other up. So anyone that's not feeling their best or at their highest, they can be added to our circle, and we will pray and make sure that we lift them up. And I guarantee you, if you're in the circle, you're going to feel better. You can bring your concerns for family, friends, and you can do it if things are going well. So it doesn't have to be a negative concern. It could be something positive. Join us every Tuesday. We'd love to have you. You can sign up by following the weekly meetings and events link under the More tab, and there's a short form. Fill that out, and we will get you on that distribution list, and you can join us. We will update you as we have certificated classes in the future. We have none scheduled at the moment. On Tuesdays at 1 p.m., join our Heartbeat Poetry Club. You heard Horace give us a beautiful presentation today on Miss Gwendolyn Brooks. Our poetry club comes together, our poetry group comes together to share talents. We have a couple of poets in our group who are phenomenal and would love to have you join us Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Under the More tab, weekly meetings and events, there's a link that allows you to sign up so that you can join the poetry club. Again, our services are recorded in video and audio format, so you're able to go and listen to any of our recent services, especially in audio format, so you can access them from your phone, from your computer, any electronic device, and hear any one of our talks that you want to hear again. Or if you're out traveling and miss a Sunday service and you want to make sure that you hear the replay, it's available for you. We have multiple prayer opportunities available to you. The first is our our live prayer opportunity. At the end of our service today, if you desire prayer, you can let our prayer room technician, Jerry Campbell, know that you're interested in prayer, and she will get you set up with one of our prayer practitioners at the end of the service. It's our gift to give you a quick 3-minute prayer for anything that you need prayer for. So do avail yourself of that opportunity. Also, on our website, you're able to submit a prayer request, and the prayer request will go to our prayer team, and a prayer will be written and returned to you, and our prayer team will pray over that before it reaches you and know that they are holding space for you throughout the week. I used it this week, and I'm so grateful for our prayer team. And so I'm going to ask our prayer tree arborist, Maureen Thurston, to come and provide us an update on our prayer tree.
Timmy, we have 351 prayers.
Thank you so much. That is awesome. Awesome. So now I'm going to turn the platform back to our lovely leader, Reverend Rosedale Jones.
Thank you, Mo and Timmy P. You're fabulous. And, a community that prays together stays together, right, Mo? I love when Mo says that. But anyway, let me just thank everybody. This is the first thing I want to do, but let me do that first. Let me just thank my whole entire team and this wonderful platform, how y'all always do it, always catching the ball and keeping it in play. Fabulous. That I need to say, Super Bowl Sunday was last week, and we did it today, didn't we?
Yeah, we had
today. So that all said, I just want to also say that we celebrate birthdays here every single month. And it's so important to me that we make sure everybody's birthday is tagged, and we can go, you're it, and we can acknowledge you. But today I'm so honored to do this because our spiritual practitioner, emeritus spiritual practitioner, and our prayer tree arborist. And I always say about her, if you did not get a prayer from Mo in the email, you did not put in a prayer request, that kind of thing. Well, that's the same thing we're going to tell you again, but I'm also going to acknowledge her and say, happy birthday, sister. Yeah, so Mo is the birthday girl of today. Okie dokie, Mo. So we got you. Happy birthday, my love. You are going to enjoy your birthday this year and have a great time. So we know you are, because we are not done with you yet. Okie dokie. So that said, all I know is that
Transition to third song.
yeah. Okie dokie, Alan. I'm telling you, man, I tell you, that's why it's good to have a right-hand man called Alan. So now it's time for us to get ourselves ready to get the last inspiration, and that is our last song. And that said, and then after that, then you're going to hear from Reverend Melanie. Okay, I got you. So once you accept and reflect that the curiosity is a superpower, great. Now the last thing before Reverend Karen plays us out, I want you to understand that it takes a lot of faith in order to ask a question and wait for the answer. You know, the answer is not going to always come to you right then and there, but it may not come when you want it, but it's right on time. Maybe you can walk 3 weeks from now and say, oh, I remember I was curious about this. Listen, when you're blinded by faith, you can easily see through the rain. Boom. I like that. I read that somewhere and I loved it. So I just need you to understand that you've got to kind of believe that this is for you to be curious. You got to believe that curiosity killed the cat, and yet satisfaction brought him back. So yeah, so that means the cat has 9 lives. Am I right? So we don't never kill cats. So anyway, that all said, let's get this last song, When You Beat Me. Fear could be something else, but you know what? When faith is coming on, Karen, it's all good. Am I right? Yes,
You're right.
indeed.
You are
So
right.
Karen, yes, my love, you are about to pray us out, my sister. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I love to play too, Rosedale. So when we go into prayer, join me right now as we believe, we open our hearts to know the presence of God, know the presence of Spirit, that light that is within each and every one of us that we're born onto this earth with, that leaves this earth with us and it never goes out. And that starlight in our eyes is the starlight of God. It is the starlight of the presence of all life. And knowing that and feeling that presence within myself right here and right now, and knowing that that presence is within each and every person, each and every life form upon this earth and beyond this earth. And the magic and the wonder as we go into prayer is our belief. We believe we can see miracles, we can perform miracles. We are miracles. We are the miracles of God. Our whole bodies are a miracle. Our light is a miracle. And we light up this planet as billions and trillions of light forms upon this earth, going into the heavens to meet the stars from which we came. Knowing this, believing with all my heart in the manifestation of prayer, believing in with all my heart in the beauty of the human race, believing with all my heart in the beauty of all life in all forms and on all levels. I say this prayer, my prayer for each of us is to go upon this earth, go in our journeys this week and with every day of our lives with that light shining from our eyes, that light shining from our heart, and knowing that we are filling this earth with our light of God, our light of the presence of the creator of all light. The source of our light is our superpower. It is our curiosity, and it is what we bring out into this world. And knowing this and being so grateful as one of the tiny little sparks of light that are brilliant sparks, knowing that none of us are tiny. We are huge in our light. We are huge in the eyes of God. We are huge in our journeys. And knowing this and being so grateful for this, I release this prayer into the universal law. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Karen, and my entire platform once again. I would love to call everybody names out one at a time, but we just aren't going to do that today because you know I love you anyway. But at any rate, oh, you know what? Yeah, it's time because you know who's coming up, right? But before she does, before Reverend Miller comes and introduces everybody about what's happening, I'm going to bid you all an adieu and a farewell for the day too. And at the same time, be curious this week. Enjoy your curiosity phase. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you next week. Same bat time, same bat tune. Thank you, Reverend Miller.